the Voyager 2 spacecraft has finally bid farewell to our solar system.
For decades, Voyager 1 has been drifting silently through the vast, cold expanse of interstellar space. A lone emissary from Earth traveling farther than any man-made object in history. Launched in 1977, it carried with it humanity's message in the form of the Golden Record, a time capsule of our sounds, languages, and aspirations. But recently, something far stranger has come to light. After more than 47 years, NASA has finally decoded a mysterious hidden message buried deep within Voyager 1's transmitted data. And what they uncovered has sent shockwaves through the scientific community. It's not looking good. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. The revelation didn't come in a burst of noise or a sudden spark of revelation. It began with a subtle anomaly, a strange modulation in the signal patterns returning from Voyager 1. Scientists at NASA's Deep Space Network noticed fluctuations that didn't align with the expected telemetry data. At first, the blips were dismissed. Cosmic radiation, data corruption, perhaps just the aging spacecraft struggling to communicate across billions of miles. But as the anomalies became more persistent, engineers began to isolate the signal. That's when they realized something was embedded within the noise. A recurring pattern, deeply encoded, far more complex than simple technical glitches. What followed was months of exhaustive decoding. NASA brought in linguists, cryptologists, and astrophysicists to break down the layered data structure. They found the signal was not random, but constructed, deliberate. It appeared to contain a secondary data stream piggybacked on the standard telemetry, shielded by encryption far beyond what Voyager 1 was designed to carry. That posed a baffling question. How could a spacecraft built in the 1970s, with computing power less than a modern calculator, transmit something that intricate? Initial theories ranged from software corruption to the impossible idea that Voyager 1 had somehow received and relayed a foreign transmission. But as the data unfolded, the message became increasingly eerie. It wasn't a glitch. It wasn't Earth-made, at least not originally. The patterns formed structures, language-like constructs but devoid of any known alphabet or numeric base. Yet it followed an internal logic. That meant intelligence. And that meant someone, or something, had embedded it there. The breakthrough came when researchers realized the patterns mirrored nonlinear mathematical ratios, similar to prime number sequencing, but offset by irrational constants. Hidden within the math was a construct resembling a 3D model, which once visualized revealed a lattice structure, a map of sorts. But it wasn't a stellar map. It didn't point to known galaxies or solar systems. Instead, it illustrated converging vectors of motion, lines that bent in unnatural ways, converging at a singularity not accounted for in any current cosmological model. A point beyond the edge of our observable universe. This wasn't a message meant for interpretation alone, it was a warning. The implications were staggering. It suggested an awareness of Voyager 1, its trajectory, its purpose, and even its limitations. Something had either intercepted Voyager or anticipated it. Either scenario was deeply unsettling. For if something had intercepted it, that meant there were eyes in the dark vastness beyond our stars, watching. But if it had anticipated Voyager, if it knew of our endeavor before we launched it, then we were not the initiators of contact. We were the respondents, unknowingly playing into a script written before we knew how to read it. NASA's decoded fragments included what appeared to be temporal markers, reference points in time, all converging on a moment in the near future. It was as if the message were time-stamped, counting down to a specific event. And as the timeline was extrapolated, the convergence point grew clearer. The data hinted at a cosmological event, a massive shift, something that would occur at both a quantum and galactic scale. Energy distortions, gravitational anomalies, and space-time fluctuations were all mathematically embedded in the message. This wasn't just a map, it was a forecast. That led to another pressing concern, the location of Voyager 1. Its last known position was over 15 billion miles from Earth, in interstellar space, beyond the influence of our sun's heliosphere. If something had interacted with it, that meant whatever sent the message had the ability to influence matter and energy at distances we cannot currently fathom. And yet, the message had not damaged the spacecraft. It had enhanced its function. upgraded its communication in a way that should be impossible given its primitive hardware. Voyager 1 had become more than a messenger. It had become the message. The encoded transmission contained no language, no voices, no images, but the structure conveyed intent. It carried tension, urgency, and complexity far beyond human architecture. The message felt alive, not in a biological sense, but in its adaptability. It changed slightly as scientists decoded it as if responding. The more they uncovered, the more it shifted, subtly, evasively, but unmistakably. That was the most disturbing part. The implication wasn't just of intelligence, but of awareness. Whatever encoded the message knew it was being observed. Speculation now ran wild. Some believed this was evidence of an alien intelligence capable of manipulating physical constants. Others feared it was a cosmic filter, a test set for emerging civilizations. Still others argued it could be a warning left by a long-extinct intelligence, not to us specifically, but to any species who might follow a similar path. That possibility chilled the scientific community, because if it was a warning, it begged the question, warning of what? The structure's convergence point appeared to center on an area of deep space known as the Cygnus Rift. This region, cloaked in dark molecular clouds, has long intrigued astronomers. Now, with the decoded data, it seemed to have more than natural mystery. Embedded coordinates pointed directly toward it, aligning with theoretical paths of quantum entanglement fields. NASA's models suggested the anomaly could be the event origin, the place where something was either beginning or ending. Time became the new urgency. The convergence point wasn't centuries away, it was decades. Some interpretations placed it within 20 years. That is no time at all on a cosmic scale. Researchers began running simulations, feeding the decoded algorithms into their cosmological models. And what they found was disturbing. The math didn't just project spatial anomalies, it predicted energy fluctuations within our own solar system. Minute changes in the solar wind, fluctuations in the Van Allen belts, irregularities in the lunar gravitational feedback, all of which had been noted recently but dismissed as statistical noise. Now, they weren't just noise, they were signals. The Voyager message also presented a paradox. It detailed impossibilities, constructs that defied relativity, mechanisms that reversed entropy, models that hinted at faster-than-light communication through quantum substrate manipulation. These weren't errors, they were beyond current understanding. The message was showing us what lay ahead, or perhaps what had once come before. Either way, it suggested our grasp of the universe was painfully inadequate. We were children interpreting hieroglyphs on a nuclear reactor. Then came the most controversial theory. Some scientists proposed that Voyager 1 had passed through a domain of space where the rules differ. A pocket of alternate physics, a membrane fluctuation, or even a rift in the quantum fabric. The message then wasn't inserted by a distant alien mind, but by the environment itself, a universe with embedded logic capable of reacting to the presence of consciousness. Consciousness as a catalyst. That idea upended conventional physics. It meant the universe could observe us back. If true, the implications were existential. It would suggest our presence had activated a response, like a motion sensor in the dark. Voyager 1's journey, then, was not just a scientific venture, but a trigger. And the encoded message wasn't sent to inform us, it was sent to prepare, or possibly to deter. More and more data now pointed to changes in the structure of local space. Dark energy readings were slightly off. Microwave background radiation showed patterns no one could explain. Even Earth-based instruments recorded bizarre neutrino behavior, seemingly unlinked, but now possibly coordinated. The message was spreading, not through communication, but through influence, like a virus embedded in reality itself. Yet the most unnerving detail was not the math, not the cosmological forecasting, and not even the sense of being observed. It was the realization that the message had always been there. It had not just recently appeared. It had been layered into Voyager 1's transmissions for years, decades even. Only now, as certain conditions were met, had it begun to reveal itself. The signal had waited. It had timed itself with precision, as though it had been programmed to awaken at a specific point in human development. And now, as its silent signal returns to Earth, embedded with the cryptic echo of an intelligence, or an event, beyond comprehension, we are being forced to confront a truth we never anticipated. The universe may not be empty. It may be waiting. And now that we've knocked, something has started to answer. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on NASA decoding Voyager 1's hidden message? Predictions? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.